If you've been following the channel for a while now, you guys know that I love PrizePicks. Hands down, the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action. Whether that's the NFL, NBA, college football, whatever, PrizePicks is the way to go. And here's how it works. Pick 2 to 6 players, predict if they'll go for more or less than their projected stats, and you're in. It's you versus the numbers, just simple and fun. And PrizePicks hooked you guys up with an incredible deal. Play $5 in lineups, get $50 instantly, win or lose. That's $50, no strings attached, and it's just one of their incredible offers. Every Friday is Flex Friday, where you get a protected play, win, or you get your cash back. Plus, don't forget about Taco Tuesday, where you'll find discounted projections all day long. So if you want to play PrizePicks just like millions of people across the country, click the link in the description, use code DOUBLEMOVE, and start making your picks today. Don't miss out on the action or the deals. The Cowboys head coaching search really hasn't even started yet, but we've still heard a crazy amount of names thrown around for who they could potentially hire as their next head coach. And you guys gave me a bunch of ideas here on YouTube, and I really appreciate that. I kind of like gauging where the fan base is at on certain decisions, especially one as big as the head coaching decision Dallas is going to have to make relatively soon. And with some of the names that you guys commented, some of those are definitely more intriguing than others. So in today's video, I'm going to try to group these guys together. Guys that have been sort of linked to the Cowboys, and we're going to do it in 3 sections. Absolutely not. I would not have any interest in hiring them as the Cowboys head coach. Do not do it. And then the maybe category, I guess I wouldn't really feel any type of way. I could really go back and forth. And then the yes category. Absolutely, I'll actually have some hope for the future, for the 2025 season, if this is the Cowboys' next head coach. So let's start with some positivity. These are the absolutely not head coaches. The absolutely not category. I would be so mad. First name is Ron Rivera, somebody that the Cowboys always seem to interview. He was the coach of the Panthers, he was the coach of the Commanders, and outside of that 2015 year with Cam Newton going crazy, he really just doesn't intrigue me. Maybe as a coordinator, the Cowboys did interview him for a defensive coordinator position when they ultimately hired Mike Zimmer, but as a head coach, I'm not interested in Ron Rivera. Then you have Pete Carroll, also in the absolutely not category. My question would be, why? A 70-something-year-old head coach, a guy that likes to run the football too much, isn't up to date on really anything in the NFL. When you start talking about guys that should be retiring very, very soon, giving them a 4 to 5 year deal just doesn't make any sense to me. Then I have John Gruden. He's at Barstool now. I love watching his videos on YouTube, on TikTok, whatever, ever over there at Barstool. I think he's funny. He seems like a guy that just loves football, but it's been a pretty long time since he's had real NFL success. I guess I could understand adding the grittiness, the toughness, but in reality, I just don't think it makes a ton of sense in making your football team better. I just really have no interest in John Gruden. Then Cliff Kingsbury, who is the Commanders' offensive coordinator now, and I have a question. Did y'all see Cliff Kingsbury get shut down by this Cowboys defense and Mike Zimmer? Did you watch that? This unit, the unit that was completely decimated for the entirety of the year, got smoked by the Lions. Cliff Kingsbury and Jaden Daniels got shut down, and that's all that I needed to see. And we've seen the Kingsbury experiment before as a head coach. I mean, he's been a head coach in the NFL, he's been a head coach in college, and while the beginning of some of his seasons have been really good at Texas Tech and with the Arizona Cardinals, his record always just trickles down as the season continues. I know he helped Jaden Daniels this year in his rookie season. He had a really good year. The Commanders' offense has looked good at times. I wouldn't say great. I just think there are better coordinators right now, guys that should be getting their first shot at a head coaching job instead of, recycling Cliff Kingsbury. Another coordinator is Brian Flores, defensive coordinator for the Vikings. And while I do have 2 D coordinators in my yes category, I'm not really big on hiring defensive coaches. The NFL is made to score points. It is very biased in the way of offense. Therefore, I'm not really big on hiring someone that is going to mainly focus on the defense. And then I watched the game last night that Minnesota had against the Rams, and Sean McVay absolutely cooked them for the first half of the game. Once again, Brian Flores is somebody that we've seen as a head coach. It wasn't great in Miami, and the fact that he's a defensive coach and we've seen him as a head coach before, those two factors put him in the no category for me. And now this is where it gets interesting. Probably the name that makes me the most mad out of any name uttered in the past 24 hours. That is Jason Witten, who is currently the head coach for Liberty Christian High School. This name was commented way too much yesterday. And sure, it's fun to speculate, fun to throw that name out there because Jerry Jones loves Jason Witten, longtime Cowboy, great player. Hell, his name was probably trending on Twitter or whatever from how many people brought up Jason Witten. If there's anybody that is an absolute no on this list, this is a no. He has never coached beyond the high school level, and he's only coached at the high school level for like 2 to 3 years, I believe. He has never been an assistant in the NFL, a coordinator, anything. He's never been anything outside of a player. He's played in the NFL? Cool. I don't care. We saw what a player could do as a head coach when the Colts let Jeff Saturday go out there and win 1 out of his 8 games. Jeff Saturday wasn't a good head coach, and there's a reason that he went back to TV. And I want to remind everybody that that was Jeff Saturday's team when the Colts blew a 33-point lead against the Vikings, which of course was the largest blown lead in NFL history. And I think what puts this name more so on the radar than others is Jerry Jones and his comments about how he thinks Jason Witten is going to one day be a great NFL coach, that he sees Dan Campbell when he looks at Witten. And I can tell you right now, he is not Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell worked his way through the NFL coaching ranks. He was in that circle for a long, long time. And I can promise you, Jason Witten is a lot closer to Jeff Saturday than he is Dan Campbell. So I'm going to be livid if Dallas even interviews Witten, because that is just not a serious move. It's not a move that a serious organization would even think about making, which is just so Cowboys. Now that we got all of that positivity out of the way, let's talk about the maybe category. I wouldn't really be mad. I could see myself being upset. I would just be numb to having them as the Cowboys head coach. This for me is just the meh category. Let's start with Kellen Moore, a familiar face who's right now the offensive coordinator of the Eagles. And some people might think Moore should be in the absolutely no category. And if you do, I definitely don't blame you, but I'm also going to prepare you for the truth. This move feels inevitable at this point. It seems like if there's going to be a guy that's a running favorite other than Deion Sanders, Kellen Moore is the next name. It just makes too much sense. Somebody that the Cowboys are comfortable with, somebody that played for the Cowboys, has coordinating experience. The Eagles had a good year this year. You put all those pieces together, Kellen Moore could easily be the Cowboys head coach. Now, for everybody that hates it, I want to remind you that while we had our gripes with Kellen Moore, when he was here as the offensive coordinator, the offense was actually really good. In 2019, they ranked 6th in points. In 2020, they ranked 17th. Reminder, that was with Andy Dalton, not Dak Prescott. In 2021, they ranked 1st in the league in points, and then in 2022, they ranked 4th. So while I had my gripes with him, I have questions about him being a head coach, I got to remind people that it wasn't all bad when he was here. My second name on the category is Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator for the Ravens. Lamar had his best season under Monken this year. He actually had the best touchdown to interception ratio of all time for an NFL season. I mean, you got to be doing something right. Once again, like with Kellen Moore, is it that hard to call an offense when you can run the ball with Derrick Henry, or for Moore, in Moore's case, Saquon Barkley? Is it really that hard to call an offense when you have a quarterback that can evade pressure like Lamar Jackson, run read option stuff, sling the ball like Lamar did this year? I have my doubts about what he could do in Dallas, especially taking over as a head coach. Then you have Joe Brady, another offensive coordinator, and you're starting to see a little bit of a trend here. He is currently with the Bills, and I don't love the experience that he has. I'm not sure he has it to be a head coach. It's not like Joe Brady is a hot shot name right now in the head coaching discussions like a Ben Johnson is. But Josh Allen did play good this year. The Bills' offense was good, and he's a young offensive play caller. Would I really be mad? Probably not, because at least the Cowboys are trying to get younger at the head coach spot, but I'm also not really all that interested. And then for our final name we're going to really break down is Bill Belichick, the head coach for UNC Chapel Hill. Now, he does have a buyout from UNC if a team decided that they wanted Bill Belichick to be their head coach and Belichick agreed, you could buy out his contract. But before all that happened, I said a 70-plus-year-old coach just doesn't move the needle for me. It's kind of like Pete Carroll. It's like Pete Carroll, but with a ton more success. Maybe culture-wise, maybe bringing some sort of seriousness to this football team is intriguing, but Bill has proven that he's not a great evaluator in the draft. He's not great at drafting or really even team building. He had Tom Brady. For me, I get it, but I'm also not that interested, so that lands him in the category. And that's how I also kind of feel about these college coaches. You have Marcus Freeman, the head coach from Notre Dame, which just seems like an insane long shot. I don't think he wants to leave Notre Dame, and he's only been there since 2021. Then you have Steve Sarkisian, the head coach for Texas, as you guys all know. Of course, he's going to be linked. He coaches in Texas, but I'm not really sure that he wants to leave either. And then a name that we liked in the Cowboys' previous coaching cycle when they hired Mike McCarthy was Lincoln Riley, the head coach for then Oklahoma, now USC. An offensive mastermind. Would it be cool? Sure. Does college coaching experience and success always translate to the NFL? No. Now, let's get into our last section of this video, and that is the yes category. I'm not going to go in depth on this first one because you guys have heard me say it a million times, but that is Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for Detroit. Detroit has an absolutely insane offense. They use a ton of play action. They don't run 4 hitches when it's 3rd and 8. They have a really effective run game. Jared Goff has looked the best that he has throughout his entire career, even with Sean McVay. And Ben Johnson is just one of those guys that is going to get a head coaching job. Is it going to be with the Cowboys? I don't know. Would I like it to be with the Cowboys? 100%. Then his staff member that I would also be interested in is Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator from the Lions. Aaron Glenn has really put together a nice unit over there in Detroit, and they've honestly played good even with all of the injuries that they've had over the past month or so of the season. Glenn has been in the league for a decade. He's been working his way up slowly but surely. He got his opportunities. He got some real players in Detroit, and now he's having a great season. Apparently, he's a guy that people around the league really like, someone that can demand a lot from a locker room, can stand up there and be that dude. And with the way that he's been able to turn around that unit in Detroit, seeing how Dan Campbell runs his offense, I think Aaron Glenn would actually hire a really good staff if the Cowboys would let him. You know, maybe bring some of those guys from Detroit over to Dallas. The quarterbacks coach from the Lions, defensive backs coach from the Lions, whatever you want to do, I think Aaron Glenn would be a great team builder and culture guy. Now, for our last name, the craziest name on this list, but I did put him in the yes category, and you guys can scream at me. Are you more mad that I put Jason Witten in the absolutely no category, or are you more mad that I put Deion Sanders in the yes category? My thought on this is, why not? Why not? If we're going to go big or go home, it doesn't get any crazier, doesn't get any bigger and make more sense than Deion Sanders. Now, if you're talking about Sanders and Shedeur being a combo package, I'm absolutely out. But if we're talking about just bringing Deion here, a big name, a guy that once again has had college success, maybe that doesn't translate to the NFL. How he runs his college program doesn't translate to 30-year-olds in the NFL. But if you're planning on hiring Ron Rivera or Pete Carroll, I will 100% take Deion Sanders over all of those guys. At least there's a little bit of an unknown with Ron Rivera. You're going to get mediocrity. With Kellen Moore, you're probably going to get slightly better than mediocrity as a head coach. With Deion Sanders, you have absolutely no idea what would happen. And if Deion would even come here. It's been reported, multiple reports have come out about Deion Sanders speaking with Jerry Jones. Deion loves Colorado. He doesn't want to leave Colorado, but still, you never know. It is a name to monitor as this cycle continues, and if he actually gets a formal interview. Now, I didn't include these, and I don't really know why, probably because I'm not interested in any of them becoming the head coach, but some in-house names that could be up for a head coaching job is Mike Zimmer, the defensive coordinator. I think Mike is done with the Cowboys. I don't think he's interested. He's probably ready to ride off into the sunset, enjoy his life. I believe he just got married, so Mike Zimmer seems kind of out. And then you have Al Harris, who I would love to be the defensive coordinator. I think that's the next step in his coaching process, moving from assistant head coach and defensive backs coach to just head coach. I'm not really sure is the move that you want for your football team for the next 4 to 5 years. As for being the defensive coordinator, 100%. Then you have Brian Schottenheimer, the offensive coordinator now or was under Mike McCarthy. Flat out no. And then John Bones Fossil, the special teams coordinator, once again, an absolute no. So that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know down below, what did you agree with? What did you absolutely hate? What other coaches are you just kind of like, I wouldn't be mad, I wouldn't be sad? Let me know down below in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I love you all, and I'll see you next time.